How about that Southern Poverty Law Center? I mean, that, you know, like it doesn't look good for them, right? I'll tell you that. I saw a lot about it, right? And, you know, basically, just as a TLDR, the Anti-Racism Center paid a bunch of people to do racisms, so they had a reason to ask for money. So, like, basically, create the problem, sell the solution. And again, like, classic, right? And again, like, I don't think it's really a big surprise. I mean, to anybody who, again, like, if you think about things the way that I do, it's very obvious these things happen all the time, right? Because, like, I mean, none of these people, like, I think that people don't understand how bad it is. They don't actually get it. They don't realize how much of, like, just an absolute roach most people really are. So, Vampire Survivors today? Ooh, yeah, we got it downloaded. We got it locked in. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to play it today or not, but I kind of planned on it, so we'll see what happens. And you see NTE drama, it's stupid. Yeah, I saw a little bit about it. Just I don't really think it was that interesting, but yeah, I did see it. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, hopefully it's good. Are you thirsty? No, I've got a drink. I'm chilling, man. So, I did see tons of this, right? We pay people to be racist so we can fight racism. There you go. And, again, I find this to be, like, if you understand, like, just people's psychology, you would understand this happens all the time. It's going to happen constantly. Now, why is it? Why is this happening all the time? It's actually super simple. It's because these people want to be seen as, you know, the good person, the right person, the morally correct person, and most importantly, right? I mean, we could talk about that bullshit, but, like, here's the real reason. It's for money. Like, they get a bunch of donations. You know, you whip all the suburban moms. Oh my God, the Nazis are gonna come back. It's gonna be like American History X. Oh no. And it's like, oh, it's like Hitler. Oh my God. And, you know, they get terrified and they're like, I better send them all my money quick. And that's it. They're sending the money away. And I think to myself, I'm like, how fucking stupid do you have to be? But, you know, there's a lot of people that are fucking stupid. So, yeah, apparently there's too many of them. And how many of these anti-Jewish right-wing influencers were funded by SPLC, the Big Four? So there are a lot of names. We're going to go through everything today, right? But I do want to say that I think that this is this is basically the way I see it, okay? Okay, so this is like the ocean, right? And this is the iceberg, all right? Let's go ahead and we're gonna just get this spiky thing, okay? And this right here, you can see, like right here, SPLC. So this is, I think this is the reality, right? Is that this problem is way worse than you can imagine. This is just the tip. Just the tiny little bit. Like, it's so much more, right? Physical impossibility? Yeah, I think it's going to get so much worse. The illegal that killed the Air Force student while driving a jet ski on a Lake Grapevine is getting deported back to Venezuela. Well, fuck them. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't have done that, right? And so, yeah, I'm always lying when I'm saying that. Yeah, and so just to see it feels right. And so this is the problem, is that what people are realizing now is that a lot of this type of, like, this dissonance and this divide and everything, like, it is a manufactured divide. And I think this manufactured divide, I think that it started in about 2010. I think 2010, 2011, like, actually 2011, 2012, right? Like, this is basically, you know, like, this is like the timeline, this is the, let me just make this really big so everybody can, I'm going to actually save this one because I'm going to use it regularly. Asmongold, American History, Paranoia, let's just conspiracy timeline. Okay, so this is the way it happened, all right? And I guess I got to make it a little bit smaller. Is that, okay, so basically, All right, we're gonna have 3 squares. And all right, actually 4. Okay, so basically this is 2005. This is 2000 and this is 2011. This is 2014. Wow, I am just a retarded today, huh? And this is now. Okay, and so I messed it up again, and there we go. All right, so basically, this is what's kind of happened. This is my conspiracy timeline that explains every problem that the country has, okay? All right, racism, basically, defeated. Everyone is getting along, generally, right? Okay, so this is a big problem. And then lives improve, but what about all these corpos? This is Occupy Wall Street, okay? Oh, I guess Occupy Wall Street. Okay, and so this is basically the next thing that happens, right? And so people are like, okay, well, what about this? Well, then, look at that black person. They took your future, okay? So this is what happened. So we had this, and then now we have, oh my God, the Jews. So this has been and I know this might not make sense, but I'm gonna make sense out of this, okay? So basically in 2005, everything was great. Everything was good. And yeah, there were problems and nothing was perfect, but it was pretty damn fucking close, right? I mean, you had, again, Rush Hour 3 comes out. The co-stars is a black man and a Chinese dude. And every single person in America is like so excited to see this movie. I watched it in movie theaters with my dad. I bet a lot of you guys did too. And so anyway, racism is basically defeated. People are becoming more progressive every year. There's an understanding being created between, straight people and gay people. Gay marriage is being seen as more of a reality. And it's still kind of a taboo subject, but we're moving in that direction, and the world knows it. And the world, I think, is becoming a better place. And then just a couple years later, obviously you've got we literally elect a black president. We elect Barack Obama. And again, like Barack Obama in 2008 ran a crazy good campaign. I mean, he was that guy. He was. And if you don't think he was that guy, go back and watch the debates. He was that guy. Now, you might disagree with him bombing, every single country in the Middle East or like he did X, Y, or Z thing. But back then, he really was that guy. And so anyway, he was a good talk. He was a great talk. He was one of the best. He's one of the best. Not as good as Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton, right? But he was close to Bill Clinton. And that is crazy. And so anyway, then 2011, 2012 comes around. Occupy Wall Street happens. People think to themselves, well, wait a minute. It wasn't the black people that were causing me all these problems. It's not the gay boys either. Well, maybe it's the people that are making all the money. Maybe it's the people that own all of the capital and the people that own these companies, and they aren't paying us a lot of money. You've got to remember, this is the recovery of the 2008 recession. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Well, maybe it's not women that are the problem. Maybe it's the guy in charge that's taking all the women and then, creating some weird system around it. And so people are like, well, what about all these rich people and all of this, this leadership class? Well, now that terrified the shit out of them. And so what happened after Occupy Wall Street? Well, then now it's, basically the rich guy takes 9 pieces of a 10-piece, pie, and then he cuts one piece in half, and he says, hey, the black guy got your half. And I think that this is accurate. It is. But, I mean, obviously, there are identity politics things that I agree with, right? I agree with these identity politics, but I do think that identity politics is, in a general sense, it's used as a wedge issue to keep people fighting about silly stuff, right? Like, trans people going in bathrooms and stuff. And I'm not even saying, I mean, like, I care a lot about that. I think that, that shouldn't happen. But at the same time, I do also recognize that this is a misdirection. And the misdirection, I think, was intentional. And, like, if you saw the cultural shift that happened from in 2011, people were just saying the N-word. Everybody was just saying it. They were just with the hard R. It was in world like I would get suspended. I actually, I stopped getting suspended. I said it so many times that I just stopped getting suspended for it. Everybody did that, and so anyway, it was hilarious. And it was the best time ever. By the way, you could say anything you wanted. You could do anything you wanted. Nobody took anything too seriously, and everybody generally found a way to get along, right? And again, and I think that there was a lot of not everybody. I'm sure people had bad experiences, etc. But in a very general sense, there was a level of edginess to it, but there was also everybody knew it wasn't real, right? It doesn't really matter. Like, it's just bullshit, right? And so anyway, then identity politics took over, and now we've moved from, because obviously identity politics has kind of run its course, and so now we're back to old reliable. Old reliable. The one, the OG. The OG, the Jews. That's right. It's the Jews. And that's it. The original. Yes, the original one, right? Like right back down to the classic, the original sin. Yeah, they killed Jesus, right? And so literally. And so that's really it. And I think this is kind of what's happened. And so the Southern poverty, and why am I talking about this? The reason why is because I think this entire thing is manufactured. I think that now, like, people have become so mentally ill, they've gone into such a psychosis. I think that there is like a large disconnect between like the average person and one of these like protester people, right? There is it's a very big problem. But for a very long time, I don't think it was that bad. And most people were able to get along. Even in 2016, people could get along. I think that what really, and this was the kill shot, what ended Western civilization being able to be normal? What was it? It was COVID. COVID took every idiot and it put them all on the internet. No, it wasn't women. Now, I can see why you say that, and that's a good point, but I think it was COVID. I do. COVID one-shot the entire culture. It did. Harambe got more people on the internet, but it was really COVID that made things the worse. And where do I get this job? Yes. And so basically they're creating racism everywhere. And Elon Musk, this is what I think is funny, is that everybody was calling out the SPLC and these other, and by the way, a lot of these other NGOs and these organizations, they're all the same. I want people to understand this. They're all the same. It's not like some of these are good and some of them are bad. They're all getting kickback money. They're all in on this. They're all creating this grift. This is it. And so game recognized game. Well, yeah, because the thing is that the reason why a lot of people like Charlie Kirk identified this, even Scott Adams, I think his name is, the guy that did Dilbert, identified this. Like many people identified this. This means all the stats about right-wing extremism are fake. I told you. I tried to fucking tell you. I tried to say it. I tried to explain it. But people, man, it was so obvious. We all knew that, though. It was so fucking obvious. It was so obvious that it was happening. Like, I don't know the whole narrative was built on a house of cards. I know. Everything about this was bullshit. And so you were explaining to the 5% who don't understand. I think that, and this, by the way, I want to go all the way back to 1776. This is why they didn't let everybody vote. Okay? This is the reason why we're not a democracy. we're a republic. And they understood. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, they understood this. Benjamin Franklin was like, yeah, I can see what could happen. They all understood this, but for some reason, somewhere along the line, people forgot, okay? And so the Greeks knew citizenship was too valuable. I know. For the people, by the people, but the people are retarded. For all the people, by some of the people, okay? That's the way it is. To be fair, though, the politicians aren't geniuses either. I think that Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and George Washington, I think these guys were geniuses. I do. I think that they built a political system that stood a massive test of time. I think that it has made itself open to analysis. They were able to repel the greatest force in the, at the time, modern world. They built the biggest nation and the most powerful nation in the history of humankind. I mean, I think that's pretty, I'd say that's pretty good. Even if you think these guys are morons, they sure got lucky, didn't they? And so anyway, it was a failed experiment, if anything. I can see that, right? A great system and decision making. And so anyway, you see climate activists storming outside of Trump Tower. I didn't see that. Thank you for not including Alexander Hamilton. Well, I honestly just didn't even think of him. But yeah, maybe there's that too. But this means all the right-wing stats about right-wing extremism are fake. Of course, because right-wing extremism is intentionally mislabeled. And I'll give you an example of it being intentionally mislabeled. The Aryan Brotherhood inside of inside of prisons, right? The prison Aryan Brotherhood. This is counted as right-wing extremism. Okay, well, if you want to count the Aryan Brotherhood as right-wing extremism, can we count gang violence as left-wing extremism? No, obviously not, because that's retarded. Same as counting the Aryan Brotherhood in prison. So that's it. And this is what happened. There is only a prison thing. It's not only a prison thing, but it's more powerful in prison, obviously. So this is the issue, right? Is that, whenever you control the way things are measured, you can just choose to selectively measure things in a way that's beneficial to you. So I think that's what happened. And it's mainly a prison thing. You have to join one of them. Oh, no, I know all about it. I've had friends in prison, etc. U.S. isn't the greatest country in the world because of the system. It is because it's got a large population and was formed on Western values. I think that there are a lot of reasons why the United States is very successful, and I think that having the Constitution in the way that we do and our government is a big reason for it. I do think so, because we've got the same people. I mean, there's the same people in America that were in France and Europe, right? I mean, in Britain, it's the same guys, right? In Scotland. So and again, I'm not saying that Britain's bad or Europe is bad, but I do think that America is locked in a unique way. And if you're a French guy and you say no, France is the best country, you're totally wrong. I respect that, okay? All right, that's fine. Yeah, fellow patriot from across the pond. That's okay. But, as an American, I think that we have the best system. I think that we do it the best. And so anyway, I can go back and forth about it. Yeah, based frogs. Yes, there you go. And definitely, Britain's cooked at the moment. Many places are cooked. Napoleon complex? Well, hey, it used to not be a complex. It used to be the fact they ran the fucking world. So, long time ago, though. Anyway, so, yeah, it was all fake. It was all bullshit. It was all a lie. Iran, oh, no, let me go back and I'll find the rest of these here, too, because it's just really fucking funny for me to see all of this. And there's also another gerrymandering thing. If the SPLC helped fund and organize Charlottesville, then they are responsible for the death of Heather. Oh, yeah, there's a woman that got run over. I forgot about that. Damn, bro, that's a Challenger? Shit. I didn't know they came apart like that. Damn, really? It was? Yeah, no, I didn't know they came apart like this. Jesus. Fucking Hellcat totaled? I don't think that's a Hellcat, man. Hellcats have that body kit on the bottom. I'm pretty sure it's not a Hellcat. I think that's just a Challenger, man. That's a 2000 and, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 Challenger. And I know that because my dad had one, and he still does have one. And as I said, bro, that old man was crashing out, and like he knew it. And so like we went through the whole house. And he labeled, he says, you're getting this, he's getting this, you know, Gary's getting this, like Max is getting that, Sean's getting this. And I'm like, oh, Pa. He's like, yeah, the car? He's like, yeah, what about it? I said, who gets the car? He says, you do. I said, what, so I get the car? He says, yeah. I'm like, all right, so I get the car. So that's my motherfucking car, bro. Like, that is, dude. I love that car, man. I do. Absolutely. And your dad was driving a Challenger at 70 years old? No, you don't understand. My dad was driving a V8 performance package, like, fucking, turbo shifter, Hemi engine Challenger, while he was on, like, 7 different drugs at the same time, like fucking, like Immortan Joe from like fucking Mad Max, barreling down I-35. I tell him, and I'm like telling my dad a story about Miz being like a crazy driver, driving 140 miles an hour, and then my dad somehow is like, what? Like, he took this as, like, I'm trying to, like, one-up him. Like, I'm trying to, like, fucking put him down. And he's like, well, I was driving down to Sean's. I was going 160. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're going 160 miles an hour? Like, how? How do you just... He was 77, 78 years old. Just driving down there. And yeah, and like he, like, by the way, growing up, like my dad, I would sit in the passenger seat, and it was his dad taught him, watch for cops. My dad taught me, watch for cops. Look around, tell me if you see one, right? And as places to be, he would make it down to San Marcos from Austin like 10 minutes. He'd be like, I mean, you'd look at Google Maps and it would say 28-minute drive. I'll be there in like maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. Don't worry about it. And so anyway, cars can't go 160. Yeah, Hemi definitely can. Yeah, definitely can. And so anyway, how do you feel about speed limits? I think speed limits are great, okay? Like, I don't drive that fast at all. And I never do. Was it manual or auto shifter? You could do both, right? And what color? It's a blue one. I'll have to take a picture and show you guys. And so yes, anyway, yeah, it's a Challenger. I can tell that. That's the reason how I know. Anyway, point being, if the SPLC helped fund it, so basically they were indirectly, because somebody got killed at the Charlottesville rally. Some retard drove around in a car and ran somebody over, basically, if I remember correctly. And so while raising hundreds of millions of dollars from neurotic left-wingers via direct mail by stoking fear of surging hate groups, the SPLC literally paid someone more than $270,000 to, among other things, plan and organize the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, VA. The SPLC also paid 6-figure amounts to people at the same time that they were listed as extremists the group was dedicated to fighting against. So basically, they pulled the old, like, I mean, isn't this what we did with, like, the Taliban? Where it's like we kept paying the Taliban and ISIS. We kept giving them money indirectly so we could keep bombing them. And so it's like, basically, you're just paying this problem to continue so you have a reason to keep solving it. And so that's what it is. And classic move, yes, you basically, you have a solution that's looking for a problem. Well, there aren't any problems. Oh, I know what to do. Make one up. And so anyway, if accurate, the SPLC was literally funding and coordinating the hate surge that it used to solicit funds for its operations. Anybody who's surprised by this should not be allowed to be in a leadership position for anything. Like, for anybody, and by the way, for anybody that's a real one, like, all the real ones knew this. We all knew this. Like, everybody knew this. Like, for example, I guarantee you fucking Donald Trump knew this. Elon Musk knew this. Charlie Kirk said this. Fucking Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, knew this. Like, and you don't have to be a billionaire to know this, but, like, you've got to be a real one. I knew it was bullshit. Yeah, it was obvious. And so anyway, the entire The entire worry about this was bullshit. And so let's see here, and I'll read. This is from the documentation, and I'm going to go through the actual main, the main course of this, but I just haven't really gotten to it yet. So just be patient. And Scott Adams, Hall be his name. Yeah, why do all these window repair companies keep paying kids to throw bricks through windows? That is actually really true. It's actually really funny you say that. So today, I was driving home, right? And there was like somebody in front of my house, and I was like, is that? And I go by, and it's one of my friends that I'd grown up with, right? And it was like he's doing actually window and housing repair. And he and I talked, I talked to him for maybe 30 minutes today. And so I was like, and now he's doing window repair, and I'm gonna have him do my windows. So, because I haven't seen him now for a little while, right? Because the thing is, it's crazy. He has more gray hair than I do, and he's younger than me. I'm like, that's right, bro. I got it locked in, I'm not having it happen. But honestly, this dude is he works out like crazy. He's fucking built. And so I'm proud of him. I really am. I'm very proud of him. And so I've got to tell, Cody and Jeff, because and some other, some of the other, but I mean, you understand, this guy and I, we go back 25 years, really, really long time. And so we had a lot to talk about. And so anyway, you can have gray hair if you don't have hair. Yeah, you're right. And so anyway, that it's funny you say that, the window repair thing, because he literally was doing that, and they're going to do that for me today. I just got done doing that 2 hours ago. But anyway, point being, besides that, yes, people are paying other people money to start problems for them so they can look for a solution, right? That's it. And so F37 was a member of the online leadership group chat that planned the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, and attended the event at the direction of the SPLC. F37 made racist postings under the supervision of the SPLC. So it's they were sitting, the supervisor, wait, you really want me to call him that? But he's black. With the... Sir, are you sure? Okay. You fucking... goddamn. Really? And this is all right, well, now we're fighting against racism. Yeah, is that the Spencer dude? I can't fucking believe this. It's insane, man. And stop stalling, the all hit the hard R. Exactly. And this is a reach and a half. Is it really a reach and a half, though? I mean, you look at this, and let me go back. I'm going to pull you up. Do you really think this isn't happening? I mean, really? Think about it. No gray hair, no balding. Yeah. All right, Alex the kid. You're 53 fucking years old. You're probably the youngest person in chat. Okay, do you really think it's a reach that this is what's happening? This is obviously what's happening, man. I mean, this is the literal FBI. This is their communications. They're saying it. I don't know what you want me to do. It's not really... There's so many paid protesters that it's proven. It is. This is the validate. I mean, the funny part. Okay, all right, bro. That's fine. And don't worry about it. And so... They funded extremist voices and targeted moderate ones. That's right. Between 2015 and 2023, the SPLC secretly paid F-37 more than 22. What is this F-37 here? And paid someone. Who is someone? Do we know who someone is? What is this here? F-42 was the former chairman of the National Alliance. The SPLC website contained an extremist file webpage about F-42 from which the SPLC solicited donations. And from 2016 to 2023, they paid this person $140,000. This overlapped with the time period that F-42 was featured on the SPLC's extremist file webpage. And so what's happening now is that, yes, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Charlie Kirk spent years calling for groups like the SPLC to face investigations into their activities. There you go. And people think it was Nick. Everybody's saying it was actually Nick Fuentes who was the one that was the inside guy.
Reason for going down to Charlottesville over the weekend was to demonstrate. It was to show solidarity for a cause which has not been talked about in the mainstream media, which the American people never got a vote on, and that is the fundamental transformation of the reason for going down.
So we'll see. Fuentes blew up after that rally. Well, it was the first big thing that he did. You're right about that. There were signs all along. Remember the tiki torches? Oh my God. And so the whole FBI paranoia about right-wing groups was an extension of this. Yes. And it's all connected. All of this is connected. It was all done intentionally, and it was completely manufactured. This entire panic and everything about it was totally manufactured. And this is what I think is also very funny about this, is that after this information now has been revealed and people are starting to see it, do you know what's going to change? Nothing. These people are so deep into the psychosis, they're so deep into drinking the Kool-Aid that they're not going to back down off of this. They're not going to stop this. They're not going to like say, oh, I guess we were wrong. Let's go ahead and, like dial things down. No, they're just going to move on to the next thing, and they're going to act like it never happened. They need to take down. So these are the organizations that I think are problematic, right? Let me go. Those are all a bunch of other random ones. This is like a million of these. Holy fucking shit. And anyway, where is it here? If I can find it. Oh my God, there's so many of these. And okay, yeah, that was annoying. All right, anyway, so I'll do one more. Okay, so this is the SPLC. I think ACLU, Act Blue. Let me see here. There's one more I'm thinking of. Oh, ADL. I think all of these organizations need to be investigated. I think you need to investigate all of the finances coming in and out of them. BLM, why is BLM even on there? Everybody knows that's a scam. I mean, like, we all, like, that one's like, yeah, duh. Like, oh, well, they stole all the money. And so it's not that big of a deal. That would be antiseptic. Oh, it would be antiseptic. It sure would be. And so anyway, that one's bullshit. Yeah, we all know this. And so all of these organizations, I think, are on this spectrum. Now, I'm not saying they're all the exact same, but I'm saying that I think that if you really go in and you do an investigative report with actual discovery and you're looking into people's messages and communications, I think that you will find a tremendous amount of bad faith behavior and other forms of fraud, deception, misleading, lies, other forms of manipulation. I think every NAACP, I don't really know about that one. I mean, I think that's just basically a black, basically, supremacy group, right? Where it's like, well, we're just going to advocate for, black interests. I don't really know if they're an actual fucking, I don't think that they do enough for that to really happen, but maybe I'm wrong. So AIPAC, well, AIPAC is, I would say that's like a different spectrum than this is. I mean, like, AIPAC's also bad, but it's on a different spectrum of bad than this. So anyway, huge laundering up. Yes, and I think this is happening fucking everywhere. And I think also even really big ones that should be investigated. Also, these are the big ones. The UN. The World Health Organization. I think these right here are also really, really bad. I do. And in NFL, yeah, the UN, the Fed. Well, I mean, the WEF, World Economic Forum. Yep, probably. And let's see here besides that. And all of these organizations, I want to make one thing very clear. All of these organizations are at a fundamental adversarial position to Western civilization. all of these organizations work towards and in the best interest of undermining, delegitimizing, and damaging and weakening Western civilization. This is the primary function that they serve, because they've been infected with people that think that it would be better for us to be something different, right? Stop the far right in the UK. I'm not a UK guy, right? I mean, I pay attention to some stuff, but I don't know the intricacies. So, what would your mom say about this revelation? What would my mom say? See, I told you, see, you should have, why don't you just listen? Why, yeah, I told you, I've been trying to tell you for, what, jeez. See, look, now, now you're going to watch this video with me. What's it about? It's about giants that lived in Arizona, and there's an Indian tribesman who's talking about the, oral tale of the giants and the Nephilim, and it's, oh, okay, right. And the thing is that this is the problem, is that Hillary Clinton was asking about, what was that tomb? Cyprus's tomb or something like that in fucking Iran or Iraq? Like, no, Gilgamesh's tomb. Like, and I think about this, and it's like, she died 10 years too early. Because if she had been alive for all of this, I'm not even kidding, like 80 to 90% of all of her conspiracy theories would have come true. She would have. They would have come true. And it's actually insane. No Gilgamesh Resurrection Chamber? Oh, yes, the Gilgamesh Resurrection Chamber. Excuse me, okay? I don't want to get this wrong. She'd be so smug. No, I don't think you could be any more smug than she just naturally was. But yes, definitely, they're all connected, bro. And so Democratic Socialists of America, maybe you're right. And so what I'm saying is that all of these organizations are fraudulent organizations. They're all scams and Russia collusion. And this is the problem that I have, right? They have the goods on Act Blue, yet nothing. This is pennies compared to the fraud and foreign interference this organization illegally launders into our elections. And so you have all of these people and all of these things that have happened, and nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's going to jail. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I will watch, before I go into any of this, Trump administration handing out indictments for SPLC, funding the KKK. Wow. And so SPLC, all right, let me pull it up. And let me see if I can find, okay, this is the United States Department of Justice. Justice Department announces an indictment against the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center. It alleges that they secretly funneled $3 million, over $3 million in donated funds to white supremacist and extremist groups. And so we have National Alliance affiliate, Aryan Nations affiliate, Unite the Right, that's the Charlottesville rally, National Alliance chairman, and then, oh, here's the good one, former KKK members. American Front president and felon, $19,000. So they paid all these guys out in order to keep doing this. The Democrats are going back to their roots. Yep. The more it changes, the more it stays the same. And Charlie Kirk was right. The SPLC is a hate group. He actually spoke out about this. He was part of the intelligence projects, was there, but it was suddenly destroyed. I wonder if the project is what described in the DOJ indictment, describing how SPLC paid millions to neo-Nazis so they could use them as talking points for fundraising. Did they dismantle the project to hide the evidence? I bet they did. I think that's very accurate. That's probably exactly what happened. Couldn't that just be welfare checks? I don't think so. They're not the government. How are they going to make Trump look like a racist now that he's going against this group? Well, the problem is that, see, you are operating inside of the frame of the optics. These people always control the optics because they're the ones, like, optics are generally controlled by the people that are the most reactionary, the most emotionally driven, and the most impulsive. So if you want to figure out how the public will react to something, think about the dumbest, the most self-centered, the most short-sighted, the most emotionally charged, and the most brain-dead thing that you could possibly imagine. That will be the optics for it. So I think that really what a lot of those left-wing people are going to say about this, I can already guarantee you this is what they're going to say, is that they're going to say that this is all fake and they made all of this up and they're just doing it in order to make Trump look good. They're just going to say it's totally fake. Like, they'll just deny the entire thing. They'll deny it in its entirety. And they'll act like it didn't happen. And so that's the reason why. It goes so deep, the corruption they are already. Of course they will. Because, again, those people can't be reasoned with. You can't try to win the battle of optics with them because they're not... You know, optics require visuals, right? Like, what is an optic? This is like your eyes. They have their eyes closed. They're not waiting. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to see the truth. Since the KKK are shills, do we have to take their racist card away? I think that what happened is that they paid the KKK anonymously. I don't think the KKK or the Charlottesville rally even really knew about this a lot. I think that what happened is that they basically took a very small subset of people who were angry and they funded them and they gave them a microphone and they extrapolated it and exacerbated it to where it's such a big problem that now everybody's talking about it. I think that's really what happened, is that they paid the money anonymously. Maybe there's one person there that knew about it and they said, okay, well, this is, you know, like maybe a greater evil or a greater good that we're doing this for. But I think that's really what it was. I can go ahead and we'll watch a little bit about this, right? And so this is part of it, though.
I just want to make sure I understand. You're alleging that the Southern Poverty Law Center. I just want to make sure I understand. You're alleging that the Southern Poverty Law Center was paying the leaders of KKK and other groups to continue their operations. Is that?
I'm not alleging it. The grand jury returned an indictment that says that. And so what?
There you go. It's a grand jury. Oh my God. Wow. Can you not read, retard? It's about informants and not actually funding. All right, I'm gonna pull you up. Give me a minute. You're gonna get pulled up. What is this here? Do you really believe that? And I want you to think for yourself. I don't want you to tell me what something said. I want you to think for yourself. You're going to do this. You're going to do this for me. Think for yourself. I mean, like, you're not going to... I mean, because you're talking about this a lot. And I'm just kind of curious, like, what's going on here, right? Why is this even happening? Why would you say this? It's interesting to see. And it's an indictment, talks about fraud and ghost companies. It's not just informants. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not just informants. I mean, like, but I'm not going to talk about the reality of it. I want you to think for yourself. And this is the challenge that a lot of people have, is that many people are not able to do that. You actually confused about that? Yeah, of course, right? You don't launder money to informants. You just hire them normally. It looks like this person that doesn't have a single response. So this is really not a big surprise. I mean, you're going to have people that say this constantly, but you know, again, like, people like this, they love to say this stuff. Couldn't that be easily tracked and confirmed? They could easily confirm that we paid this person and he's clearly an informant. Of course they could. And again, the grand jury would have looked through all of this. Like, a grand jury does this with, can you not read? LOL. Uh-huh. Because you know, and the thing is that you know that if you explain it, you're going to be an idiot. You're going to look like a dumbass. And so you don't want to explain it or explain what you're thinking because you didn't think at all. You didn't think at all. All you did is you took what somebody else told you and you repeated. Oh, what did it say? What about grand jury indictments against Trump? Well, what about it? I mean, it was obvious that, well, no, Trump obviously broke the law with the campaign finance. It was very clear that he did. Well, wait a minute. No, now you're unbanned. Well, no, I don't think anybody's debating whether that happened. Everybody's saying that. And also, by the way, what the hell does this have to do with Trump? Like, you're talking about Trump. You're going to get no. January 6th in documents case. What does that have to do with this? You're talking about Donald Trump. What are you doing talking about Donald Trump for? This is about the SPLC and about them making a bunch of fucking bullshit. Like, do you really think, and this is the problem, do you really think that they wouldn't pay people in order to cause problems so they could necessitate themselves being a solution to those problems? Do you honestly think that that's outside of the scope of conceptualizing? Do you think that's it? Like, I mean, that's just this. Like, and again, I don't care about like whatever your opinion is on Trump or whatever. Why don't you read the indictment? Well, which one? Like, you're talking about the January 6th one? Who the fuck cares? It happened 5 years ago. What are we talking about that for? Like, I'm looking at this. That's obviously it. And so it happens often? Yeah. Like, it's crazy. No, SPLC? Well, I don't know. Show me the part of it that you want me to look at. And also, like, I'm telling you, do you think that happened? I'm asking you to think for yourself. Do you think that they would pay right-wing people in order to cause problems so they could push donations for themselves? Do you think that would happen? Not like reading this thing or whatever. I want you to use your critical thinking. I thought he called you. Yeah, I thought he called me this slur too. I did. But no, that wasn't it. It's not answering. Yeah. You can't think, man. Yeah, I'm not interested in what you think you read or whatever. Like that, I don't care about that. Like, do you think that happened or not? More money, more problems. I know. The brain rot goes deeper than people thought. Well, I think that this is the issue that people have, right? Is that there's a lot of people that have like reading comprehension, but they don't have the ability to synthesize what they read into an idea. And so like they can read something and then based off of that, they draw a conclusion from it, but they're not able to go anywhere beyond that. That's the issue I think a lot of people had. What's wrong with paying informants? You didn't answer the question. You know what? You've been given so many chances to answer the question, and you haven't. And the reason why is because you're not. You know that it's obvious this is what was happening. It was obvious this is what was happening. I've asked you 3 times the same thing. You're not answering it. You're talking about something else. It's because you know that it's condemning, and that's it. No mercy for pigeons on the chessboard. Yes, exactly. And banned twice. I know. And a complete waste of time. Total bad faith. But what about Trump? What about Trump did this thing? Who gives a fuck about that? Who give a fuck about that? Who cares? I'm talking about this. Jesus Christ.
Is that?
I'm not alleging it. The grand jury returned an indictment that says that. And so what the investigation found, according to the indictment that was returned today, is that they were paying. So Southern Poverty Law Center is raising money, asking folks to give them money to dismantle racism. And over a very long period of time, they were using some of the money they raised from donors to pay to, they called them field, basically to informants, for information, for access, to just pay them for certain, to do certain things. And so, yes, that's exactly what the indictment charges.
Yep.
I just want to make sure.
There it is. And so, yep. And they go big money, and some haven't spent it yet. Exactly. Alex Jones right again. False flags everywhere. I know, guys. And SPLC played the KKK that turned up in Charlottesville. That's not informing. That's performing. Well, they're paying them to have it happen, right? I think that's the reason why. And that's a tremendous amount of money to pay an informant, right? Especially whenever you're doing it through something else. DOJ, why is it okay for them, not the SPLC? Plays a vital role fighting hatred. This politicized politicized intimidation needs to stop now? Well, it's because they're doing it. This is what I think that they're doing. I think that they're paying these people to do it. They're paying them to gas up these problems and then present themselves as the solution to them. I think every single one of these like weird anti-hate groups, these like bigotry groups are doing this. And I'm so glad now. What I hope happens now is that the government systematically dismantles them and puts the people that are running them in jail. I do, because I think that they're paying these people, they're causing these problems to happen. And I think also, like, and this is the angle that I hope they go with, right? Is that if you're paying these people to do this and you know what they're doing, and these people get someone killed or they, you know, cause problems, like, there should be accountability for that. And the left will always hide behind vocabulary. The informant's bullshit. It's just one of the obscurities. Well, again, they will always try to obscure things, but I think it's very obvious this is what's happening because of incentives. Again, you don't need to know anything. All you need to know is what someone wants, what they're trying to do, and what they need in order to get what they want. And that basically will explain everything. So all you need to know is that these people need to fight racism. If racism dies, they die. What does that mean? Racism will never die while they are alive. Because every you know, again, when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And so anyway, that's what happens. And so they push this stuff constantly because that's the way they make money. Without hate and bigots, they're irrelevant. This is the same reason why wokeism will always continuously spiral. Like, it wasn't enough to have gay marriage. It wasn't enough to have, you know, like X, Y, or Z thing. It wasn't enough for, like, you know, people to accept trans. Now it has to be trans kids. Now it has to be kids in, like, bathrooms. Now it has to be, you know, adults going into women's bathrooms. It has to be sports. This will all, it can never stop anywhere. And the reason why it can't stop is because if they get what they want, they lose their power. And this is something fundamental about the human mind. People always want more. Everybody wants more. And because of that, what happens is that you have people that they want more. They want to make even more money. They want to have even more virtue. They want to be seen as a better person. So what happens is that these people basically, they go out and they say, well, this is the new thing that we're fighting for, because they, you know, they win a battle. Like, if after you win the war, do you really want to go back home to doing what you were doing before? It's kind of what I said before. They had this problem in, like, the Crusades. And I think they're going to have it probably in the Middle East, too, where a lot of these, like, terrorist groups, like, why would you, if you're running an ISIS cell, you know, you're operating millions of dollars of machinery. You have dozens of men that report directly to you, and they would lay down their lives for you. You're the man. Like, you're making $1 million deals regularly. Like, you're fucking, like, you're a boss. And so, does that guy really want to go back and just be a farmer after this? Did these guys that were crusaders, they were, you know, gallivanting around the Middle East, you know, taking over cities and, you know, going on raids and everything like that. Why the fuck would they want to stop that? That was great. Like, yeah, they were kings. They were like warrior kings. And then they have to go back to Europe to push a fucking plow, like, behind a donkey that's farting and shitting in front of them? Fuck no. No, absolutely not. No, I want to be down fighting for the Pope, doing all this. I have my bright, shiny new armor and everything like that. Gallivanting was fun. Exactly. And so why is, this is the same thing that happens always. It will always happen. And so this is really just another example of that. It's people, after you build an identity and you build a career around fighting for a problem, you enter into a very weird, like, I mean, this is like, it's a comic book, you know, reference, so it's silly by nature, but I think that people can understand it. The Joker doesn't want to kill Batman. Why would if the Joker kills Batman, then all the fun's over. Well, then now, well, what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like, it's done. Like, there's no chase. It's not exciting anymore. It just happened. And so it's the thrill of it. Well, it necessitates the existence of the Joker. Without Batman, you don't really need the Joker. And without the Joker, in a way, you don't need Batman either. And so what my point is that this is the reason why social justice and not social justice, right? Like performative, narcissistic, social messaging. That's the reason why there will never be a conclusion to it. It's because all of these pink-haired Karens with nose rings that, think that they're 7 different genders at the same time, if they say they're happy, they lose all their power. They go back to Starbucks. Okay, all right, Kathy's finally happy. Can you please go back to Hobby Lobby and start selling, picture frames again? Well, no, Kathy doesn't want to sell picture frames again. She loves the idea of fighting for the downtrodden, being seen as the organizer. Everybody listens to her. It's Kathy, the fucking, the fighter for civil rights and justice. And she's the one that's out there, and she's got her megaphone. Everybody's listening to her. She's a revolutionary. She's in the front, and people are behind her. She's organizing, planning, giving orders. Do you really think that Kathy wants to go back to the picture frame department at Hobby Lobby? Do you really think that she wants to go back to selling, shungite cubes at the witches, the witches shack, in like East Austin? No, she doesn't, because she's got a good thing going here. This is great. This is amazing. She's loving it. And so they won't say this. They will never say this. But it is. And it manifests everywhere, at every level, from high to low, to good to bad. Like, for example, I'm just going to come up with, this is a bad example, but I'm just going to say it. If Hitler ever succeeded in actually getting rid of all of the Jews, do you know what Hitler would have done after that? He would have found another group to get rid of after that. Because that was the entire thing. That's what would happen. It is, again, it's not like, okay, well, now we got rid of them and everything's fine. No. He's already going after gypsies, right? Disabled, gay people. Holy fuck. And so this would never have stopped. It would never stop ever. Concentration camps, that's 1,000% false. I disagree with it. I do. And again, I provided a million examples. If you think that's not one of them, then you can use a bunch of the other genocides, and I think that that's true. And it's all right. That's the same as true for you. The thing is that there is an element of truth to that. And I want to talk about it from my own perspective. We have hunted woke video games into endangerment. It used to be open season. It was like the Wild West, where they would just ride along on a train car, bop, 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 just popping them off. And it was nothing. But the problem is that now we've basically won. We won. We beat it. We got rid of them all. Like, there's pretty much every single one of those games is dead. We've killed the studios. We've destroyed the careers of the people that ran them. Not all of them. And every once in a while we get a new one, but it's like a tenth of the way it used to be. And in a way, it's almost bittersweet. Because it's like, wait, so now am I going to have to go back to actually just playing video games again? Like, I got what I want. Well, what do you mean I got what I want? I got what I wanted. What? I spent so much time working for this. What am I supposed to do now? So I understand it. And yeah, what about WoW though? I don't know, man. And Capcom's leading the charge. Well, there's a lot of studios that are. And so anyway, and the dog, yes, once the dog catches its own tail, it's like, well, what the fuck? I guess now I have to play video games again. You're supposed to play Death Stranding? I've got good news for you. I actually have Death Stranding. Not only did I buy Death Stranding, but I installed it onto my computer, and I bought it like maybe a few days ago, and I will play it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing on stream, right? Because it's probably like a super long form game. But I figured I'd play maybe the first day or so on stream and say what it's like. And so this is somebody who's saying, are you saying that you're gonna let a few woke games get popular so that the population can grow again to continue your cycle of hunting woke games? The thing is that if everybody who disagreed with me, like, and I do genuinely believe this, and the other side might not admit this, but it's true. If I ever actually stopped making content, it would be bad for a lot of left-wing creators. And if they ever stopped making content, it would be bad for me. There would be less people watching. Because it's true. It's true. Think about how much time is spent and energy is spent opposing this. And so it's a symbiotic relationship. It is. And the thing is that it's always important to keep that in mind. It's a cycle. It definitely is. That sounds like a funny proposition. It does. Because at that point, it's just, okay, well, we won the fight. We won the battle. It's like after World War II was over, they stopped making as many tanks. They don't need as many tanks anymore. And it's like, so if your job was making tanks, well, you're like, well, fuck. Like, now what? Like, what am I going to do now? Anyway, let's go back over. We'll look at the rest of this. Coming out of DOJ, SPLC played confidential informants to gather credible info and not keep the KKK and other hate groups in power. Surely, and again, this is exactly the angle that they're going to go with. Wait till you see the judge getting this one. Exactly. And, oh my God, Acting U.S. Journal, they funneled millions of dollars to groups including the KKK. That's not paying informants. Yes, they're not paying informants when they're funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars to the group at large. This is crazy. Obviously not. And so anyway, I will go through and watch some of this. And oh, here we go. We can go through this here. And
good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering.
That's a lot. And, you know, you're talking about the informants. Oh, they were informants. So how does that explain money laundering? You see what I'm saying? Would this could be considered funding terrorism? If they could, I mean, like, you know what my viewpoint is on this, okay? Like, you get my opinion on it.
According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose.
There it is.
By paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
Isn't it crazy that we found out that the whole trans thing was being pushed by Jeffrey Epstein, and now we're finding out that all of the racial animosity was being pushed by these organizations? Or really just accelerated? That's crazy. Wow. You realize the SPLC is the lawyers that bring the suits the activist judge to use to hinder Trump? I understand that this is a large apparatus. Of course, it's easy to figure that out.
The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of one person and injured dozens more.
Yep.
This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years.
Oh my God.
In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million.
Who was it? Who was it? I want to know. I want to know what's the name?
To 8 individuals at least.
Everybody's saying it's Nick. Everybody's saying it's Nick. I don't see any evidence for that. I think the only reason they're saying it's Nick is because he's the most famous person that was there.
These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan.
Ooh, not a good one. Remember them? They're the bad guys.
United Klans of America.
Let me guess. That's like is United Klans of America like the store brand KKK? Like, I don't know. Like, this sounds like just like a worse version of it. The KKK plus. Yeah, like DLC. Timu KKK.
National Socialist Movement. Aryan Nations Affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club.
That's
the Nationalist Socialist Party of America. Nazis.
Just literally Nazi. Oh, no.
And the American Front. Now, as the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing.
That's right. That's right. The whole time they were doing that, I did not see that coming. I think everybody should have seen that coming. And Justin Binner ran the SLC, and now is Whitmer's SOS, the governor who faked her kidnapping. Oh, I don't know about that. I didn't hear about that at all. There is zero evidence from anyone from this group is being paid by the SPLC, or this group is being funded by the SPLC. You know what? I think that there is a chance that a lot, because like, where are these guys coming from? Really? Where are they coming from? Who are they? I mean, why is it all military-aged men? Like, where are the communications for this? They're feds. Yeah, I mean, like, we've got to ask Kash Patel. Like, that's, if I ever had a chance to talk to him, that's what I would ask him. I would say, all this Patriot Front, you know, Proud Boys, all this shit, how involved was the FBI or was the government? Why the masks? Well, I mean, obviously, there could be multiple reasons why. The props are on point. They are. And they're very organized, too. So, another group started by a teenager. Maybe you're right. And who sponsored their outfits? Your taxes? Yeah, I think something like this. I think it's organized. I do. And SPLC is a criminal organization that funded right-wing hate groups and organizes fake right-wing protests so it could then turn around and fundraise off of them and use them as a pretext to crack down on conservatives nationwide. There you fucking go. And, oh my God. SPLC is a Jewish social engineering think tank. Is that true? I don't even know about that. And, oh, here we go. What is this, like scuffed George Lucas? Let's hear what he has to say.
And my bosses insisted that we move out of the house for a week. You know, at one point I was... Anti-Muslim hate groups? Oh, it went down. There's no way there were zero anti-Muslim hate groups in 2003. Like, I mean, that was after 9/11. What are we, like, I mean, your data collection's wrong. I mean, whatever you're, so, like, you're just bad at your job. Like, I mean, you don't even know what you're talking about. No groups as an organized? You believe that?
notified last year by a letter from a federal
Non-Hispanic whites proportion of U.S. population? Man. That's crazy.
federal court in New York State that a certain guy could, and my bosses.
How about that? That's a weird way to say it, right? It certainly is. I think I see the problem. I told you guys. I told y'all, like, people have been listening. This is stunning. Unite the right, most notorious of all the extremist displays in the last 10 years. Tiki torches was all subsidized racket funded by the supposedly anti-hate SPLC. Well, and here's also another thing that, you know, again, only a fucking idiot could come to this conclusion. If they're getting funded by the SPLC, do you really think that the SPLC were the only ones doing it? Like, you have all of these other organizations that function the same way, and they have the same problems. Do you really think that they were the only ones? No. So when you look at probably all of the money that was put into that, I bet it was over $1 million. I bet there's a good chance that it was. Maybe not 1 million, but I think it was a lot more than what they were. And so it's written on yellow paper, so it must be accurate. Well, I mean, I think that was accurate, right? And seems doubtful that they invented this racket. Exactly. I don't think they invented this. I think they did it themselves. Me, after the SPLC sends me $75.
As I was saying, she packed up her bag and left. It was all very sudden.
Well, do you know where Mika is right now?
As you know, she's always been very interested in the classics, Greek and Roman literature and history, and she has always enjoyed the ocean, so she...
No. Jesus. Okay. Well, and all tax dollars to fund a conspiracy. Yeah, that's insane. Remember the Democrats that protested tiki torches and claimed they were raising awareness when they got caught faking the hate crime? Yep, there's been a lot of these. And white supremacists packing up their checks from the SPLC. Oh my God. It's all bullshit, bro. Like, it's all been bullshit. And the Tiki Torch March was so sus. It seems like it. Trump is upset the SPLC went after Nazis. Oh, this is after... Oh, by the way, this is the kind of thing that somebody like this says. And again, rainbow flag. Let's see here. Oh, he doesn't have his pronouns in his bio. That's a surprise. And yeah, TikTok news update. What could we do without that? Remember that Mike Potok proudly kept a handwritten record of the white U.S. population on his desk. Man. It's almost like it's completely fucking obvious what these people were doing. And yeah, there it is. Let me see if I can scroll down. Which other... Oh, bro. Oh, they are locked in. And the thing is that, like, these are guys. Look, it's Mark Andreessen, Elon Musk. I mean, these are, like, fucking multi-billionaires that, like, manage large systems. These are the kinds of people that understand the way that these systems work. Of course they're going to come to this conclusion. Duh. Which other prominent NGOs are doing this? Exactly. Many other cases. Point them all out? Yeah. I think this is only the tip of the iceberg. So when people said the government was dropping people off in a gazillion cages of rocks to protest routes and escalate, it's probably true. I think that they were probably being indirectly funded. That's probably what happened. They weren't being directly funded, but indirectly funded. And so, oh, this is Kash Patel talking about...
We're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade.
Yeah.
They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups.
And here's a good question. Is more white supremacy and white supremacist actions, will it increase or decrease the people that donate to the SPLC? Like, let's say there's another big, huge white supremacist rally where they go crazy. Will that cause the amount of money to go up or down? There you go. None of this matters until we see people go to prison. Yep, you're right.
However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups.
Wow.
I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front.
As I said, gentlemen, this is where we're at. Do you really think that all that money that's going to those hospices and shit in California and the, don't you find it weird that the same people that were at, Ilhan Omar's events and at different Democrat fundraisers were the same people that were running the Quality Learning Center? Doesn't that seem weird? To anybody who's not a retard, it doesn't seem weird at all. It seems like, yeah, of course. Yep, of course. Yeah, of course they're doing that. What does this photo represent? The photo represents the SPLC being the tip of the iceberg. That's my point. This is not even, in my opinion, probably 1% of it. I bet it is that big. Especially if you count foreign influences as well. So the socialists are being funded by the same people who support the KKK? There's a reason why they're called Goyim. You understand? There's a reason why you call them that. It's just the way it is.
At least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over
So that's also really important because, the whole idea of they're just paying informants. No, listen to that again. One more time.
Mission. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million.
They're easily manipulated by really stupid, obvious stuff. Well, that's the reason why they shouldn't be able to vote. Again, every year that I say that, more people will agree. There will never be a point in time where me saying this stuff will become less popular. It will only become more popular. So you're telling me the Democrats haven't changed and still fund the KKK?
Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity.
Wow.
They attempted to hide their criminal activity.
Why would they do that? If they were just paying informants, why would they hide the activity? Why would they probably deleted records, stuff like that? Why would you do that? So Democrats are the ones that shouldn't be able to vote? I think that there's a lot of people that shouldn't be allowed to vote.
From our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America.
Who does this?
So that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ.
I will not be thankful until those people are in a jail cell. Like, I want them in a jail cell. Like, not on trial, not arrested. I want them in a jail cell. That's what needs to happen. Because until that happens, I don't give a shit. I mean, this is great. It's great this is happening. But, like, how many times have they identified a problem? Well, they haven't solved it. Nick hasn't been alive for over a week? I don't know. Maybe he's got a headache. Who knows? I have no idea why.
But his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that
longer
we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
It's so fucking funny for me to see this. It's so funny that the obvious thing that I think everybody could have imagined is clearly and obviously what's happening. And there you go. I'm happy to see this. I am. The switch up from Nick made total sense from him being full MAGA to supporting the Democrats. Well, and to me, like, I don't think that Nick is a Fed. I don't think so. I've always liked Nick, and I don't want to believe that, because I think that he's, you know, like, he's definitely, like, I agree with a lot of his message. Not everything, obviously, but I agree with a lot of it. And so, like, to me, but I do think that there are a lot of people. There are a tremendous Nick Shirley. Well, Nick Shirley, and I was talking about Nick Fuentes, but like I meant Nick Shirley too. I agree with Nick. There are a number of Nicks. He's a likable Fed, yeah, I guess so. You're dumb if you think he supports them. I understand what Nick is trying to do with what he's saying. It's obvious to anybody who has, like, I don't know, maybe an IQ over 90, but like I don't know what to say beyond that. Anyway, let's go back. I'll look and find SPLC. Let me see if there's any more of this on here. It breaks down the case. Okay, well, let me go and find this here. This is the I want to listen to.
And welcome back, everyone, here to
no,
Live
not
Now
this.
from Fox. I'm your host.
Before me. What that means is that this FBI with this Department of Justice has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI, every time you do so, I've answered your question, has seen a reduction in opiate overdose deaths up to 20%.
I'm going to see some of the questions.
Alone. What that means is that we have found 6,300 child victims, 6,300 families have their kids back. That is a 22% increase from the Biden administration. I'm on the job. I'm the first one in. I'm the last one out. I'm like an everyday American who loves his country, loves the sport of hockey, and champions my friends when they raise a gold medal and invite me in to celebrate. I've never been intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on. I'll see you in court.
The thing is that Kash Patel got his email leaked, and all they had, like, yeah, the guy likes to drink. I mean, he likes to drink, he loves cigars, and he likes sports. And he likes having special tailored suits. I think that's a fucking America. That sounds pretty good.
Login issue. Just explain the computer login issue. You were not able to log into your lawsuit contends that you were not able to log into the system. What did you think after you were unable to log into the system?
Let's have a survey. How many of you people believe that's true? Hang on.
Did you communicate
You
with
asked the question. Let me answer it.
No, let me
No.
Did you communicate with anyone that you thought you were fired after you were unable to log into
The problem with you and your report, don't cut me off. You asked the question.
Straightforward question.
The problem with you and your baseless reporting is that is an absolute lie. It was never said. It never happened. And I will serve in this administration as long as the president and the attorney general want me to do so. And
Isn't it crazy that the media is in like open opposition to delegitimize and cause as much strife and chaos inside of the government as possible? Like, you really think about that. That's not good, is it? I feel like that's bad.
Every time you guys report false lies, every time you guys raise baseless questions, when we are here to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center's $3 million decade-long scheme to fraudulently fleece Americans, you are off topic.
It's a simple, straightforward question. Did you talk to anybody?
Can you just kick him out, man? Just say, get this loser out of here. Like, he answered your question, and he's still, just kick him out. I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, everybody else has to have their own time to ask a fucking question. You can't have this guy debating Kash Patel, and it takes, like, 3 minutes. Like, you've only got 10 minutes total.
Whether you
the simple answer to your question is, you are lying, and every time you do so, I've answered your question.
He did. He answered. He said
simply
no.
as follows. I was never locked out of my systems. Anybody who says
your lawsuit says the opposite. Your lawsuit contends.
anyone that says the opposite is lying.
The lawsuit
Thank you.
that you filed says that directly.
Listen, man, stop. You're being extraordinarily rude. And I know maybe that's part of your profession.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. All right, all right. Now keep going.
But please just stop. If you ask a question, he can answer it. And then, wait, now you're interrupting me. Like, just a little bit of respect, man. Just a tiny little bit. Try it sometime. Good.
Earlier today,
They should just, honestly, they should kick that. They should not let that guy back in. They should say, you know what? And you can look at him, by the way. He's fat. Again, they're used to taking up space. It's what they do. It's what they do. They take up space literally, metaphorically, verbally, everything. How does this happen?
Senate Majority Leader John Thune once again was pleading for an end to the Justice Department's investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. How do you respond to a direct request like this from someone in your own party?
I haven't received the request, formally yet. I mean, listen, this is an ongoing investigation, and that's something that we can't talk about aside from saying, yes, it's an ongoing investigation, and the senator knows that, and other senators know that as well, and we'll get through it. But it is an ongoing investigation, and we can't really talk about it, especially not in public. But we'll try to address any senator, not just a senator from the Republican Party's concerns about that.
Director Patel, you said in an interview over this weekend regarding the election into whether the 2020 presidential election was stolen.
So yeah, I'm gonna pull somebody up. It says something that annoyed me. So he's definitely getting fired. Kash Patel is on his way out. He's on the way to the bar. Watch him defend Patel. So what about what I'm saying is inaccurate? What are you unhappy that I'm saying? You're getting pulled up in the middle of a YouTube video. You've been crashing out. You've typed 4 messages in probably 1.5 minutes. You're writing. You're doing this. So what's the problem here? I'm here to watch. No, I saw you say that. You've now said that before. What are you disagreeing? What do you have a problem with here? Like, I know you said that because you said that before. Like, you said this like 4 times. Is that it? Like, I mean, you're always defending these guys? I'm not, so you're not thinking. I'm asking you to think. I know it might be hard for you, but I want you to do your best. I'm talking about something specific. I asked you the question, what do you have a problem with? You're now responding with another abstraction. Can you talk about something specific, please? You have one chance to... I'm exposing... I know, you're exposing me. Can you... You're my... You're going to have one last chance, okay? You're going to have one last chance to just simply explain what specifically you have a problem with. Any vague post, and you're getting banned. You're getting banned if you make any vague post at all. You have to be specific. Where do these people come from? Sometimes I ask myself, I say, where do they come from? Who are these guys? They're out of their fucking mind. It's unbelievable. Oh my fucking God. It's crazy. Wow. Fuck your room, of course. Jesus. What a weirdo. What a idiot weirdo.
When you said that there were going to be arrests coming, and I promise you it's coming soon, hoping you could just elaborate a little bit on what that meant.
Sure. We have many ongoing investigations into large-scale conspiracies, and like we did today, we'll be announcing those arrests when the grand jury returns those indictments.
All right, just one more question, sir.
I have an on-topic and off-topic. On the Southern Poverty Law Center, my understanding was from the video that the group posted today that this program about paying the informants had ended. I wasn't clear about when that was.
Yeah.
Do you have any information about when this program stopped paying informants, and then if there's a statute of limitations issue there? I just wasn't sure how far back we're talking. And then I have another on-topic one.
So look, all I can tell you is the indictment alleges a very long period of time that includes up to 2023. So that's I can't speak beyond, when it, if anything has been happening since then, just what the grand jury found.
And then I also wanted to ask a follow-up on Joe DeGeneva. Looking back at...
So, okay, they're saying it's Yeah, I don't think so.
He's been very vocal over the years about his thoughts about the 2016 investigation, about the intelligence assessment. One quote that he said in an article in 2020 was, "There's no doubt John Brennan was the primogenitor of this entire counterintelligence investigation. It was John Brennan who went to James Comey and basically pummeled him into starting a counterintelligence investigation against Trump.
Yeah.
Brennan's at the heart of this." Given those prior statements, isn't there possibly a conflict of interest, or at the very least a perceived conflict of interest, having him oversee this investigation? And has he been vetted for conflicts prior to being hired at the Justice Department?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the conflict of interest would be, because somebody has said something in the past about a particular matter. That doesn't create a conflict necessarily. That's not what the conflicts are designed to, for just that. And I think...
It creates a sense of bias, doesn't it? Like he's coming into the investigation with preconceived views about a target of your investigation. Isn't that a problem?
I mean, I just completely disagree with the premise. I mean, look, if you look at what happened during the president's investigations, there were prosecutors that were actively involved in the 2016 information with Barr and what AG Barr was doing. They readily joined the case, and one of them was actually stood up in court. So I don't think it's unusual, and it's not something that, sure, he has to make sure that he's doing everything ethically. I'm sure that he would. He has to make sure that everything he's doing is not in conflict with whatever rules, the rules that we have in this building. But the mere fact that he has spoken about his perception, he didn't have access to grand jury information. He didn't have access to witnesses, and so like any prosecutor, I expect that he will follow the facts, and those facts come from witnesses and grand jury information. All right, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
I think this guy's definitely better than Pam Bondi. I don't know if he's that guy. Like, the thing is that, like, whenever that fat loser was causing problems, I want an attorney general that just comes up, get this fat piece of shit out of here. Just straight up, in the middle of get him the fuck out. All right, next. What else? That's all I want to see. Speak your mind, yeah. We might charge you later. Yeah, charge him for something. For what? Figure it out. And he's the CIA director, not attorney general. And did I get somebody confused? I don't know about that. And yeah, no, Scott Blanche is he's the secretary, or like the assistant attorney general. And look, acting attorney. You actually tried to get me got. You tried to get me. I was not. I knew what the hell I was talking about. Sometimes I fuck around. Sometimes I fuck up. This wasn't one of those times, all right? But you're correct. I did not fuck up. And so anyway, that's the guy that gave Ghislaine Maxwell the puppy. I would give Ghislaine Maxwell the world if she could tell me 5 names of billionaires that I can find a trail of bodies to put them in jail forever. So I'm not out on that. I'm not in on it. It remains to be seen, okay? It remains to be seen. Imagine if it was still Pam Bondi. I know. And so, yeah, but she didn't need to, but she didn't tell him that. Well, who knows what happened? And again, like, you know what, well, you know what my opinion on this would be. And do you agree with the Patriot Front movement? The manifesto gives me Confederate vibes. I don't even know what the fuck they think. Like, it's probably just some typical, you know, like white nationalist stuff. I don't know. I haven't even seen it. But anyway, let me go. So this is what they were saying, and obviously they have more patience than the media with I would. How about charge the politicians? Yep, there you go. The SPLC needs, quote, hate groups to exist in order to perpetuate its grift. So funneling money into their scarecrows makes sense. That's... Their scarecrows that's a really good one. It certainly is. So I'll go through some of these other ones too, because I do think this is a very, very big story. And, oh God. And this is just me talking shit, basically, about me being a fucking asshole. Okay, great. And yeah, the white boogeyman is coming. Yes, definitely. And what an analogy. I know. I love it. So we'll get to the pragmata stuff. Oh, here we go. About 270K 10 years ago, give or take. Alex Jones. No. Charlottesville was a false flag run by SPLC operatives who hired actors to pose as Nazis. How? Who is he? Who is this guy? How does he know this? This is like, what the fuck? If you wait long enough, Alex Jones will that's who they need to get in charge of, like, they need to put that's what they should do. Put Alex Jones in charge of the CIA or the FBI. That's what should happen. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine what that would be? Like, just do it, see what happens. See what happens. I don't know. It could be anything. He can't help being right. Yes. Oh my God. The frogs would be gay. And black helicopters. I know. Alex Jones was right, Jar. Too bad, isn't it? Too fucking bad. And anyway, I'll scroll down and find some of the other ones. I found this to be very, very funny. And oh, here we go. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Wait, what? What? What's going on here? What's this? Oh my God. And Bungie is in trouble. Bungie is the largest game company supported the just indicted Southern Poverty Law. Why the fuck is a video game company giving money to some political organization? Well, wait a minute. How's Marathon doing? Oh no. Guys, this is really bad. Like, I mean, whenever they announce like mass layoffs, I am going to be so happy. I'm going to be so happy. This is amazing. It's selling a Concordian amount of people. Yeah, I guess so. So wait, you're saying that Bungie being a game dev is just a front for being a pawn in the political machine? Yes. Why was Bungie even donating money to a political action group?
Why was this even happening in the first place? This is retarded. I don't even know what to say. It's crazy. And, okay, well, there we go. Bungie is in trouble is the latest in the game company supporting that just got indicted. You can figure out the scam from here. And so I want you guys to understand how big this problem is. Like, this is the kind of problem, it's like, they get tax deductions for it. Yeah, but they could donate to anything. They could donate to any sort of nonprofit. Why would you choose to donate to these nonprofits that are extremely politically motivated? Like, you could donate to, like, the World Wildlife Fund. You could donate to, you know, Feeding America. You could donate to Meals on Wheels. But you donate to this shit? To this shit? What are we doing? I won't be buying anything from Bungie? Well, it looks like you're in good company. So anyway, owner estimation, they haven't even sold, oh my God, they barely even sold 1 million copies. So Charlie Kirk from 2023. And he followed me. I didn't even know he followed me. Wow. The SPLC is a hate group. That's crazy. Wow. If Kirk's making bangers from the grave, he is, bro. Like, that's it. And so he got completely fucking vindicated. And I don't know where they was paying you? Yeah, wait, y'all were getting paid to be racist and I was just doing it for free? Paying the KKK to act up because the supply of racism doesn't actually meet your demand for it is probably the most libtarded move of all time. Anyone want to place bets on which alt-right leader was an informant who received 270K? So let's figure out who everybody thinks it is. And let's see here. Oh boy. Michael Chesney might be a candidate. Pretty sure it's not Baked Alaska. Fuentes wanted 6 million, but they told him they could only... That's crazy. What are the odds of these things happening at the same time? Poetry in motion. Yes, I know. How is this real? Like Richard Spencer? I don't know, guys. I knew there was something wrong. I don't think it was Nick. I don't think so, but a lot of people think it was Nick. And I think that the reason why everybody thinks it was Nick is because he's the most well-known, right? The most people know about Nick. So it's like, well, who was at Charlottesville? Oh, Nick was at Charlottesville. It must have been Nick. So I think that's the reason why. It's not that complicated, but, you know, that's it. Mine is on Richard Spencer. Maybe, right? And holy fucking shit. What's your best guesses? Oh my God. Patriot Front, the SPLC guys. I guess so. Who do you got? Fat Spencer, Fat Enoch, Fat Cantwell. What a murky mystery. And yeah, the Home Depot tiki torches, I have no doubt. SPLC funded a large number of false flag right-wing organizations. Total scam. True. And I feel like, again, finally people are talking about this and they're starting to realize this is happening. And I'll look at a few more posts about this too. Remember when Nick and Tucker both said I thought you were a Fed? They would have both been right. Well, maybe that's it. And what is this here? Not president, but Congress, yes. Nick Shirley's definitely a psycho scam artist. You want to have less consequences for adults who commit sex crimes with 14-year-old girls? Wait, what? Who is this guy? No way this guy puts how tall he is. He's a senator, and this guy literally is in the Senate. And the first thing that he puts is how tall he is. Oh, God. Should be in jail. Yeah, I guess so. Right. Good one, buddy. And yeah, chronic legislative overachiever. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? And heading to my new job at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh my God. And wow, I guess I guess things change. Oh my fucking God, this is insane. And let me go back. I can find the rest of this. Charlie Kirk. Wait, this is Charlie Kirk?
They're literally putting high school chapters of ours on a hate group next to the KKK and next to neo-Nazi groups. And I mean, we can laugh this off. There's an element to this. Remember that there was a shooter that went to the Family Research Council years ago, inspired by the SPLC list. This is them trying to make us basically surrender at Turning Point USA. We're going to do the opposite, and our students are only going to lean in even more. But they can't debate us on our ideas. They cannot have dialogue. They cannot actually go on.
And they shot him. And they shot him. Of course.
Onto the merits of why they are right or why we might be wrong. Instead, they must smear us with the age-old one-liner that you are a racist or that you are a hater. And they're finally realizing the power of Turning Point USA, which is why they put us on this list.
Well, when you're effective.
And then they shot him. That's what it was. And his death is looking more and more like a hit. Well, it was obviously politically motivated. I don't know if it was a large-scale thing. SPLC and Biden DOJ worked hand in glove with each other. They had regular meetings and targeted conservative groups and churches. The Biden DOJ even cited the SPLC in an effort to target pro-life Catholics. It was all fraud. That's right. And I'm glad to see this. That's why we've investigated them for years. This is our memo from 2023. Do something about it. And these are the comments that I want to see. People want blood. We want actual, not metaphorically, heads on spikes, the trials. We want this to happen. So if you're complaining and saying oh, I've been doing this for a long time, there's two realities. Why aren't you doing it? Or why aren't you stopping them from doing it? Because how are you going to complain that, they're breaking the rules? Well, then you should start breaking the rules too. What the fuck are you doing? Railroad them and do it publicly. It makes me so mad. It frustrates me so much. And I want a leader that will not only give us the cake, but we ask for more. Yes. Whenever Trump said, you're going to get tired of winning, I thought, in my mind, what that was to me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in for a good time. This is what that's all I want. That's all I want. All I want is to have the rules enforced in the way that they should be enforced. Maybe they already are. No, they're not. They're not. This entire thing, and I'm glad that they did this. I am. I'm very glad they did this. But how... Here is the fundamental problem that I think a lot of these conservative people have. I think that some of them are good people. And we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need somebody who's principled and moral. I know that's nice. And I that's cute, and it's good that you feel that way and everything. But we need something a little bit more than that, right? We need a little bit more motivation, right? We got to get that. And so we need savages. Yeah, we do. And so it's you need morals, but no mercy, of course. And we need good people, but not nice people. I guess so. What's the conservative goal nowadays? To conserve nothing. To conserve nothing, to achieve nothing, to complain, and to be useless. That's it. And I'm really glad to see all these negative comments. I am. I think that you should continue the negative comments. And hopefully it gets worse. And naming this, this is Alex Jones 10 years ago.
Charlottesville was mainly a bunch of homosexual leftists dressing up like Nazis who'd all formerly worked for Obama or Hillary, part of their art club. And then they lured a bunch of reporters there and some real white supremacists so the police could stand down and collide them into the folks. I pointed out that some of the same leftist foundations are funding the white supremacists that are funding real white supremacists in Ukraine. I got sued for that, even though they tried to say that I said some cameraman killed the girl. I didn't say that the cameraman killed them. I said it was all part of leftists coming out to come to this big event and hope there was some big crisis out of it to demonize the right in general and tie us to Nazis. But that's ongoing in Charlottesville. You're not supposed to question. Charlottesville was made.
Man, how is it that How is he right about this shit? This is insane. I don't even know what to say. Holy fuck, man. And yeah, I guess so. The greatest psyop was making us think that Alex was crazy.